All right, before we start, I want to go over the quick degree to radian conversions, right? Because we're going to be using those more and more and more this week and for the rest of the unit too. Anybody know any of these up here?
Yep.
So I don't have to go to the calculator and type it on my calculator and find out what it is.
6.
Pi over 6, yep. 30 degrees, pi over 6.
Pi over 4.
Yep.
Pi over 3. Pi over 2. Pi. 2 pi over 3.
Nope.
3 pi over 2. Ah.
2 pi.
Okay, these are going to be used more and more now. Okay, more and more. And speaking of being used more and more, this is actually, before I even get into that, let's fill in up here. I'm not going to have you guys memorize, remember the rules from 45, 45, and 30, 60. I'm not going to do that to you. I'll just have you fill in the missing sides. In a 45, 45, 90, this is going to be radical 2 over 2. And so will this radical 2 over 2, one job. And why is the other one the same? Because whatever's across from the 45s we learned last week, always the same, radical 2 over 2. And then your 30, 60, 90 over here, across from the 30, 1/2. 1/2. And across from the 60, radical 3 over 2.
Did you just do that in your head?
No, not at all. All right, so keep a peek on those as we go down to this thing here. I want to introduce you to something that's never going to leave your life for the next 2 weeks now. All right, everyone see the circle I've done here? Also, not just the circle, but also everyone see an X and a Y axis on here too, right here? Everyone sees it, right?
That's the first thing I saw.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Let me introduce you here. This circle I just graphed up here, it's called the unit circle. We're going to be dealing with this the rest of the time here, this unit, the unit circle. Why is it called a unit circle? Center is at the origin, right? 0, 0. And what's this called in the circle again? All these lines I'm making from the center to somewhere on there.
Radius.
That's a radius, right? All the radii on here have a length of 1. Let me repeat that. That's why it's called the unit. Unit, 1 unit. And all the radii up here have a length of 1. All right? Have a length of 1. Unit circle. Know the name. Unit circle. Here's what I'm going to do with you today. See all these degrees I graphed? 30 all the way to 330. I want to know where on the graph are those points. All right, so for instance, at 30, like what is this point on the XY axis? That's what we're going to find together right now. All right, so let's start with 30. I graphed an angle of 30, right? Everyone see? If I had you guys graph it, that's what you would graph, right? 30 degrees. We got a lot of practice in that. I want to know what this point is at 30 on the XY. And here's how we're going to find it. You don't have to do this on yours, but help me along anyway. I'm going to do a right triangle. What angle am I working with now?
90.
Okay, that's 90, but what angle did I just graph right here?
60.
What angle did I just graph right here?
30.
This is a 30-degree angle. All good? 30 degrees. What type of triangle is this?
Right. Is it right?
It is. Keep going.
So it's 60.
I just put a 30 here. This is a what?
It's 60.
30, 60, right? All right, we just did it up there, up top. What was across from the 30?
60.
What side was across from the 30?
The short side.
Okay, oh, we labeled it. I want you guys now to use these triangles up here.
1/2.
Okay, well, and again, part of this is on me. Remember, this is a length of 1 because it's the unit circle. Now it looks like our 30, 60 up above, right? So what side was across from the 30? Or what side length was across from 30? 1/2, right? And what side length was across from the 60?
Radical 3 over 2.
Radical 3 over 2. Can you tell me what that point is now? On the x-axis, how far did we go over? On the x-axis, how far did you go over? Radical 3 over 2. And how far up did we go on the y-axis?
Half.
All right, there's the point at 30 on the unit circle. Over radical 3 over 2, up 1/2.
How did you get radical 3 over 2 and 1/2 in the first place?
Up here,
Yeah, like
I used our rules. If you remember, let me just, here you go. If you want to ask, I got it, no problem. On our 30, 60, 90 triangle, Ian, if you remember, the rule was hypotenuse was equal to 2 times the shorter leg. That was our rule I gave you last week to remember. Well, what's the hypotenuse here? What do I do with that 2 to get to the shorter leg?
Divided by.
So the shorter leg is 1/2. Okay? So that's why I'm just using the rules, but I didn't want to put you guys through all that, so I just plopped them on there. Okay? All right, there you go. Again, you guys don't have to do these triangles here. Let's do 45 degrees now. 45. Let's graph an angle of 45, make a right triangle. Watch what happens here. 45, right? What are the sides on the 45 up top?
45.
I know that. The sides. The sides. What are the sides?
Radical 2 over 2.
Radical 2 over 2 and radical 2 over 2, right? All right. How far over on the x did we go?
Radical 2 over 2.
Yeah. And how high on the y's did we go? Over radical 2 over 2, up how many?
Radical 2 over
Radical 2 over 2. So there's the point at 45 degrees where it hits. Now I'm only going to do this one more time because I can't be doing this all the way around. Let's go 60 degrees now. Ready? Graph an angle of 60. Now this is 60. What's up top here, this angle?
30.
30. Everybody look above now. Look at the top of your notes. What did we put across from the 30?
1/2.
1/2. What did we put across from the 60 degrees?
Radical 3 over 2.
Okay. Can you tell me what that point's going to be on the circle at 60 degrees? How far over did we go?
1/2.
1/2 on the x. And how high up did we go?
Radical 3 over 2.
Radical 3 over 2. Done. You know these three, you know the rest of the circle.
Let's go.
You know these three, you know the rest of the circle. How? You ready? Let's go over to $1.20. What's the point at $1.20? Oh boy. Here's a skill you need or you're done. Can you find the reference angle at 120?
60.
60. Everyone agree? 60? Reference angle? What's the point at 60?
1/2 over 3.
So guess what the point's going to be at 120? 1/2 radical 3 over 2 with a little slight change. What quad am I entering in now? Second. What do you know about all your x coordinates in the second quadrant?
Oh my gosh.
So we got to make sure that 1/2's negative. 135. What's the reference angle? 135 degree
45.
angle. Reference angle?
45.
45. What was my point at 45?
Radical 2 over 2.
So it's going to be the same at 135. Radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2, but
Negative.
what's negative?
The first one.
Because all the x's are negative in the second quadrant. 150, what's your reference angle? If I said, all right, on the quiz Friday, reference angle of 150.
30.
30. So 150 is going to have the same coordinate as 30. Radical 3 over 2, 1/2, but you got to know what quadrant you're in. We're in quad 2. What did we just say about the x's?
Negative.
See if you can go around in your group right now. Finish the rest of them. 210. Find the reference angle, and it's the same point. You just got to make sure what's negative and what's positive. So go ahead, start with 210. Find its reference angle. That'll be the same point as either 30, 45, or 60. Okay, here we go. Okay, I can't wait on 210. What's the reference angle? 30. What's the point at 30? What's my point on the unit circle at 30 degrees? What, no. Point at 30. What do you write at 30 in parentheses? Radical 3 over 2, comma 1/2. That's what goes next to 210. Now we got to notice what quadrant we're in.
Quadrant 3.
What do you note about the x's and the y's in quadrant 3? So that both your coordinates are negative. There's the point at 210. Let's go to 225. Reference angle, 225. What's that? Whoop. Reference angle, 225. Yep. Okay, what's the point? Go over in the first quadrant. What was the point at 45?
30.
What do you mean 30? Point, like an XY coordinate at 45. We didn't jot it down for whatever reason. Radical 2 over 2, comma radical 2 over 2. So that's your point at 225 with the correct signs. .240 reference angle.
40 minus 188 is 60.
So what was the point at 60 now? Because I don't have the same point at 240.
So it's 1/2.
Yep, with the correct signs, right?
Negative 1.
Why negative 1/2? Oh, and it's got to match what it is for 60. If 60 degrees is the reference angle, it's got to be the same exact coordinates as 60 degrees with the signs included. Okay, now do the same thing for 300, 315, and 330. Find the reference angle and go from there.
Sorry.
What do you know about everything in the third quadrant, Tyler?
Negative y.
And
X.
negative. Everything should be negative in the third quadrant. Keep it going. What do we know about everything in the third?
Negative.
Everything should be negative. Every coordinate is negative. And then the fourth quadrant?
Positive.
No.
Negative.
What's negative in the fourth
The
quadrant?
second one.
No, what's negative? The x's or the y's?
The y.
The y. So all your y coordinates should be negative. All right? Got to pay attention to where we're positive and negative now. Okay, here we go. Let's go to 210, reference angle. If you need help how to find the reference angle, we got to take care of that right now too. 30, what's the point at 30? What do we write at 30 degrees? What do we write at 30? Over 2, comma 1/2, so that's the point at 210. Whatever the reference angle is, that's what I pick off of here. What do you know about the x's and the y's in this quadrant that we're in right now? And the x's? So both your coordinates have to be negative then. When the x's are negative and the y's are negative. All right, here we go, 225, reference angle. 45, what do we write at 45? Nope, right here. Radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2. So that's the point at 225 with the correct signs in front. Yep, because you're in the third quadrant, everything's negative. Okay, next up, 240. Reference angle,
Yeah, he's bad.
60. What do we write at 60?
My chopper is so bad.
So that's going to be that coordinate right there with the correct signs.
Slightly early every time.
And then now I want you to do the same thing for those three. Find the reference angle, write what it should be, and then what do you know about the X's in the fourth quadrant? Y's. So make sure your coordinate reflects the X is positive, Y is negative. But find the reference angle first. What? Let's go here, fourth quadrant. Let's go. I'm not waiting. I got to treat everybody the same now. 300, what's your reference angle?
60.
What do we write at 60 then?
1/2, comma, radical 3 over.
Now pay attention to where you are. What coordinate should be negative?
The Y.
Yep. So make it negative. All right, go. 315. Reference angle.
45.
Yep.
And then negative Y.
And what about 330? Okay. Make sure I want that negative outside the radical. Okay, because it's not radical negative 3. All right, here we go. I'm not done on this unit circle yet because we haven't filled out a couple things here. All right, we missed 4 actually. We missed 4 points on here. But before I get to those, I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. Is everyone in agreement? If you know those 3, you know the rest?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting a positive or a negative in front. Let me make it easier for you. How about just knowing that and you'll be fine?
Yeah.
What do I mean by this? If you know what's at 30, what do you got to do for 60? Just flip it. Right? Just flip it. And 45, the darn X and Y coordinates are what? Both the same. All right. So if you want to memorize all 3 to be on the safe side, great. All right. But you can get away with just knowing the 30 and then knowing the rest. All right. Because again, you flip them to get 60. And then at 45, it's the same darn coordinates every time. All right. There were 4 we didn't go over. What do I mean? Where are the 4 we didn't go over?
0, 90, 180.
Yeah, the ones on the lines, the quadrantal ones. All right, so let's go over 0 right now. So what is this point at 0? And I don't want you to overthink it.
Pi.
No, stop. Everybody stop. That point is what I want to know. Where did I start? This is what right here? That's 0, 0, isn't it? And if this is the unit circle, how long were all the radii?
1.
So I'm going to go out to 1. Forget everything else in between. Get rid of it. If you just had your graph right there, what would that point be?
1, 0.
Darn right. 1, 0. There it is at 0. 1, 0. I'll wait for everybody to write it down. Everyone ready for 90? Remember, that's 0. How long are all these radii?
1.
So that's 1. So what's that point?
0, 1.
Well, 1, 0 is right here. 1, 0 is not an option anymore, anybody. 1, 0 is not an option. What's this one now? 0, 1 at 90. All right, be careful here. This is what now?
Negative.
Not 1 anymore, negative 1. So what's at 180?
Negative 1, 0.
Negative 1, 0. And then go down here at 270. What's this point down here?
0.
Negative 1, right? So that's 0,
Negative 1.
negative 1. All right, now we're going to see if you can do it without flipping back to the circle. Okay, let's. Hey, everyone, just remember what was 30 again?
Radical 3 over 2.
Comma.
1/2.
Okay, let's see if you can just remember that. See if we can get anywhere else. All right. Okay, there's a bunch of things I want you to do. There's 3 parts to this one here, how we're going to end it. And I'm going to start calling on numbers now. State the quadrant. That's something we've done before. Graph it. That's something we've done before. And now finally, going into today, name where it is on the unit circle. Okay, so negative 120, you guys know how I feel. I don't deal in the negative department. What do you want me to do? Add 360 to it. So really we're focused on 240 degrees here. All right, so first 2 are review. I don't know. I say review, but it should be. Ready? What quadrant am I in here first? Here we go. What quadrant? 240. At this point, 240. Amber, what quadrant am I in? 240. Quadrant 3. Everyone's good? This is in quad 3. All right, now I'm asked you to graph it. Where's the first side of our graph always? On the x-axis to the right here. Yep. Let's put an angle in quadrant 3. Where should I be putting it? Closer to 270 or
270.
closer to 270? Good. Now just be careful here. You're not. I'm asking you to graph negative 120. The 240 just helps me know where that arrow is. So my rotational arrow.
Clockwise.
Good. And again, some of you did this on the quiz. You don't need to go around here. All right, you don't need to go around. It's not more than 360. So right there. All right, and then let's bring in our stuff we just did today. 240 on the unit circle. Don't look. This is the mindset I want you to have right now. 240 on the unit circle. First, reference angle. 240 reference angle.
60.
240 reference angle? 60. Everyone agree? 60. All right, so you think to yourself, 60. What was the coordinate at 60? I know the coordinate at 30, right? That's what I wanted you to memorize, so flip it. What's the coordinate at?
1/2, comma, radical 3 over 2.
1/2, comma, radical 3 over 2. I don't want to leave that, though, because where am I here? Third quadrant. What do you know about both the x and the y in the third quadrant? Owen?
There are.
The x coordinate and the y coordinate in the third quadrant.
It's negative 1. Yeah.
Third quadrant's right here.
Yeah.
What do I know about the x's?
Negative 1.
What's that?
Negative x, negative 1.
Okay, so they both should be negative. Everyone see my thinking here. Find the reference angle and then say where was that point on the unit circle and then change it. Pi over 3. I don't have time to go to the calculator. 60 degrees. Good. Now I say I don't have time to go to the calculator. If you need to use it, you use it. There's no shame there. Use it. All right, I don't even know why I'm asking this question, but quadrant. Amber, 60 degrees. Quad 1. Everyone graph it. Where are you putting this one? 90 or 0?
90.
90, closer to 90. Can you do it without looking? Coordinate at 60. Think about 30. If you got 30 down pat, you got 60. Right? If you have 30 down pat, you have 60. Okay, coordinate at 30. Where am I going, Ian?
We're at 30.
I'm sorry, 60. Relax.
1/2, comma, radical 3 over 2.
Any signs got to get changed?
No.
Why not?
Because it's in the first quadrant.
Yep, everything's positive there. Perfect. And 3 pi over 2 without going to your calculator? 270, yep. If you had to go to the calc and convert it, I expect you to. Quadrant?
3.
No.
Oh no, it's the
The
0,
access.
-1.
1 comma 0.
I'm at the quadrant. I'm not ready for anything else. Quad?
No.
It's not. Anybody remember the name of it?
Access.
Deny.
Quadrantal angle?
Yeah.
Quadrantal angle. We can still graph it though, I hope. We can still graph it. I don't think I've ever asked you to graph something like this, but right, nothing changes. Where's my terminal side going to be then?
On the line.
Right here on 270, right? Where's my arrow going?
Counterclockwise.
And here you go. 270. Everything's 1 unit. 270.
Zero,
Don't overthink it. What's that coordinate there? Here we go, Ian.
0, -1.
0, -1. Oh. All right, flip it over. Go do the same thing for me. First 4 in degrees, next 4 in radians. You're going to do the same things here for me. What quad? Do I ask for the quad here? Yeah, same thing as you just did. Quad, graph it. What's the point on the unit circle it would hit?